Now, something I do each morning and each evening is to gargle in a herbal preparation. This is sometimes known as oil pulling, and the reason I do this, it keeps the teeth from being infected. In fact, where I live, there are no dentists nearby, so I've not been to a dentist in years, and I'm not trying to kid you that I've never had problems with my teeth. But by getting rid of infections, I don't really have problems. So it's really to keep the teeth in good health and certainly free from infection. Now, this is part of a new section to the magic of Java called The Real Magic of Java. In this new section, I'm going to focus on real people performing what they believe to be real magic in Java. I'll attempt to explain some of the elements of this Javanese magic, particularly what I describe as the Kajawan elements. However, I need to warn you that inevitably my explanations will be partial. Maybe sometimes some elements of what I say will be incorrect, for which I profusely apologise. But this reflects the oral tradition of magic in Java, the mystery, and at times, I have to admit, subterfuge surrounding the practice of magic in Java. Please accept my apologies, but I do hope you enjoy this new section. The first, I was going to call it a herb, but I guess it's a spice. The first I want to talk about is turmeric. Now, it's the dry season here in Java, so all I can show you is some rather dried up plants there. So yeah, unfortunately, you can just about see what the leaves look like when it's growing. It's just a wonderful spice. It has very strong antiseptic properties, so it's often used for cleaning wounds. It's actually used for cleaning circumcision blades in remote parts of Indonesia. So you can tell it's very strong antiseptic properties. It's an anti-inflammatory, so a little bit like ibuprofen. And so therefore can help with things like irritable bowel disease, pancreatitis, arthritis. Probably for that reason. It also regulates blood pressure. It regulates the blood pressure, so therefore it's good in fighting heart disease. And it could be used for preventing certain types of cancer. Probably breast cancer would be one, prostate cancer, pancreatic cancer. It may be useful in type 2 diabetes. Osteoarthritis, so I've already said arthritis, but it seems to be good in treating osteoarthritis. As I say, it might be useful. It's certainly felt to be useful with type 2 diabetes, but it might be useful in type 1 diabetes, particularly people who are insulin resistant. It may be able to reverse or delay Alzheimer's disease. It's possible that it works rather like Prozac in treating depression. It certainly improves skin health, things like eczema and psoriasis. Protects the body from free radicals. So maybe that's how it works against things like cancer and Alzheimer's disease. Therefore, probably also it works as an anti-aging substance. And it may prevent eye degeneration. So, all in all, it's a wonderful wonderful spice that should be a part of any sort of herbal thing that you propose to take. The next thing we use is, or I'm going to talk about, are two different types of galangal. The first is the regular galangal, and the second we know as temankunchi, or finger root, but the official name is Bosenbergia rotunda. Now they both, and the other that we could use is tremulawak. They have similar health benefits, so I'll talk about them together. And they're very similar to ginger, and also very similar to turmeric. So excuse me for repeating myself at times. So very good for helping inflammation. Very good for, I don't like using the word immune booster, because I've come to find that that's something of a misnomer. And what it does certainly is, if you have a compromised immune system, it helps the immune system. It increases the sperm count. Again, it's believed to protect against cancer. It's a natural antimicrobial, so particularly active with certain types of microbes. It's very useful, particularly the streptococcus, the sore throat. It's good for your skin health. It boosts hydrolonic acid production. It helps the digestive system and can stop hiccups. It's believed that it helps the brain health and again protects against depression, reduce cholesterol levels, fights respiratory disease, can boost cardiac health, and it's supposedly very good for stopping things like a dry scalp, dandruff, hair thinning, split ends, etc. It's believed it may help with nausea. Now, what I've not included here is ginger, because being the dry season, we haven't got any growing in the garden. But I'd normally use ginger, and very similar properties to galangal and to turmeric. But it's worth just mentioning them. Supposed to be very good for nausea, especially morning sickness. Can help with weight loss, osteoarthritis again. Drastically reduces lower blood sugars and improve heart disease factors. Can treat chronic indigestion. May reduce menstrual pain. Lower cholesterol levels. May help to prevent cancer, help the brain's function, especially against Alzheimer's disease, and a general fight against infections. So ginger is something that I think really is a must. It's just simply that we haven't got any in the garden at the moment. And something that is so common in Indonesia is lemongrass or seri, which has amazing health properties in its own rights. Again, it's an antioxidant, can help actually scavenge free radicals in your body. Its antimicrobial properties, particularly good for tooth decay. Anti-inflammatory properties, so may help with things like heart disease and stroke. May help with cancer, potent anti-cancer abilities against some cancer cells, certainly. Promotes healthy digestion. It's probably a diuretic, so it's probably quite useful in for slimming. It reduces systolic blood pressure, although it may lead to a mild increase in diastolic blood pressure. It helps to regulate your cholesterol. Not only is it a natural diuretic, but it helps in terms of being a sort of a detox. So it can help with weight loss in many ways. And finally, it's used to relieve premenstrual syndrome, or is it stress? PMS, anyway. Yeah, it's helped for that. So it's helped for the menstrual cramps. And now I've got an actual oil, which is oil of clove, or minyak checker, as we call it. Now, as a child growing up in England, or in the 60s in England, we always had tincture of oil of cloves in our medicine cabinet, and it was taken for toothache. It was a very common remedy. You don't seem to see it now. Indeed, when I mentioned that I was using it to a dentist the last time I was in England, he thought it rather strange. But yeah, it used to be very popular, and it has somewhat sedative effects, and it can be used in cough medicines. It moisturises dry skin and helps with skin problems. It reduces some types of pain, particularly toothache, which is what I sort of put it in for. I've heard that it can be used for earache as well. It can be used for relieving the pain of bunions or warts. It soothes irritations, particularly something like poison ivy. It improves the blood circulation. It can be used as an insect repellent. It's used in many weed killers. It helps with unpleasant odours. It increases the libido or the sex drive, and it reduces stomach pain. So an excellent oil to be using. As I say, I use it largely for the toothache. So I boil up all of these ingredients together. I might add a little bit more water to the boiling process. What I'm really looking for is a lovely golden colour from that turmeric, and once it's got that golden colour, I then turn off the heat to allow it to cool down. And once it's cooled down, I then decant it into a bottle, and it's that I use every morning and every evening for a gargle. Now, people who use Ayurvedic oil pulling techniques seem to recommend that you should gargle for, something like 30 minutes at a time. Well, I don't do anything like that. I perhaps gargle a little bit longer than you would with a proprietary mouth gargle you buy from the chemists. But nothing too extreme. And as I say, I just do it every evening, every morning. If I happen to be away, I probably won't take any with me, and I seem to be fine. But it's a regime I've got into, and it seems to be very useful as a part of my general dental. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed this. Because these are real events, I can't say how regularly I'm going to be adding to this subsection. Because I don't know how often they're going to occur. But I would imagine that they'll be at least every couple of months, maybe monthly. Now, if you'd like to know when that's going to be, please subscribe and hit the button, and you'll get information on when new ones are released. I'd love you to make comments and ask questions, and if you do, I'll attempt to answer them. as honestly as I can. I promise you that there's no attempt on this channel, or this part of this channel, of me. There'll be no attempt by me at any type of subterfuge. I'll try to be as honest and open as I possibly can be. Inevitably, there will be some of you who disagree with my interpretation, and we can agree to disagree. But what you're seeing is real stuff here. What I'd love you to do, if you enjoyed this, is look at my other sections. Particularly, I've written novels about magic in Java, and they contain much more information in them, especially me trying to understand the theories of magic, the psychology of it, and I try and intersperse them with a sort of spiritual dimension. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and God bless you.